Rich, how have you gone about lifting spirits this week?
Well, first cab off the rank, James. We cancelled the players' day off on Sunday. We just felt on such a short turnaround. It certainly wasn't a game you could sweep under the carpet. So we thought it were better to get them in on Sunday. So then, by the time Monday came, we got a fresh start into this game, and hopefully we can, understand the reasons and some of the efforts that we're looking for moving forward. And I use that word effort. I think it's important to highlight to the players what effort looks like and what effort doesn't look like. So we feel you can have all the game plans and the systems and the tips in the world that you want. But as we all know, rugby league's a game that if you don't underpin it with the required effort, always a chance of seeing what happened on Saturday happen. And our effort simply wasn't good enough in all the effort areas, chasing kicks, getting back on side, working together in the tackle, running past tackles. So before we even talk about errors and game plans, it was important for me to get over to the squad and for them to recognise and understand what our effort looks like and I guess what this shirt demands.
How do you gauge Cass right now?
We've put more emphasis on ourselves and what we're going to do. Huge respect for Castleford. I know they've not had a result for a number of weeks. You can see they're probably not too far away. I think they're still moving the ball really well. They've still got some terrific players, I think, in good form. You look at Liam Watson, the carries, the offloads, the way he's charging forward, the effect he has in their team. He's still massive for them. So I still see them as very much a good team that come the end of the year when the whips are cracking, they'll be thereabouts. They've had some injuries, which probably disrupted the continuity in the team a little bit. And we were expecting them to come out with a response to their disappointing defeat next week. But we very much put the emphasis on ourselves and as I've already spoke about, getting that required effort, desire and commitment for each other. Not just for yourselves. I think we saw plenty of effort from people when they were carrying the ball and had the ball in their hands. But in this sport, I think you're only actually on the ball or making a tackle for maybe 6-7 minutes a game. So what are you doing when the ball's not in your hand? And we've got a fair few questions to answer on that score from last week. But it were important we put it to bed early and get our focus on how we're going to put it right this week.
Big day for the club with the North Stand being
huge,
officially open. It's the first time the whole stadium's full, but not maybe full, but open for nearly 2 years. Is it an occasion and an atmosphere that the players will help the players?
I think so. I think it'd be disappointed if it were lost on the players. The fact that they're probably playing in the best stadium that the competition's got to offer in front of a massive crowd, a derby crowd. And the guys that are in the 17, consider themselves very, very lucky to be part of an occasion like this. And like I say, I think our effort and our performance undoubtedly needs to replicate what this means to the club.
Any chance of golden point extra time again?
Yeah, I hope not. I know Brad Dwyer last time was saying I'd stopped him taking drop goals, which is not the case. A bit of story behind that. I used to take drop goals. When I was coach of Hull, I seen a player knock another player out doing a drop goal. So at the end of training, when everyone's milling around, everybody fancies themselves as a kicker. The victim and the perpetrator will remain nameless, but I seen a player spray a drop goal point blank into someone's head and knock him out. Team run. These days you wouldn't get past the head injury protocols. I'm going back a while now. So obviously Dog used to do that and spray him into the crowd, and the disabled section at Warrington had all be taking cover at the back of the post and the players and all this. So I just said, look, if you're going to practice drop goals, you need to practice them at the right time and the right place. I'm all for you knocking 45-metre drop goals over, but not where everybody needs to get the tin out on.
So you wouldn't mind if he wins it again with a late drop goal?
Look, I don't want to go through what Dave Ferner went through that evening as the pictures that came over on the television showed what Dave was going through that night. So no, if it came to that, then for sure.
How's Mr. Siumano Fanai fitting in, settling in?
Yeah, good. It's been difficult because the 2 games he's come in have been 2 very under par, bit below par, lacking intensity performances. So knowing his role within the team, bear in mind he had a little bit of a knee injury, a couple of weeks layoff before he came, off for playing and straight into a game, short turnaround. So we've been able to spend just a little bit more time walking and talking through some of the roles for our middles this week and how they can complement each other. So we'll get him pointing in the right direction, and I think he's shown that he's got plenty of bump in his carries, and he can be a big presence for us. But I understand too, probably the nature of our 2 performances and the frantic nature of some of our attack last week would have probably left him thinking, where am I, what should I be doing now? But we'll get him there on that score.
Conrad Howell's hamstring, is it of any real concern?
No, it's minor, but he's going to miss this one. Hopefully we'll get him back for Magic. Connie's a big player for us. Our lack of shape, if you like, last week, we got a big strike weapon on our left like that. We need him with the ball in his hands as much as possible, and we need to work out a way in which we can do that and use him a bit better. Unfortunately, he's going to miss this week, but we'll nurse him through and try and get him back for Magic weekend.
How have you enjoyed the hands-on coaching this week?
Yeah, it's been a different week. It's been a different couple of weeks, as you'd imagine, but look, it is what it is, and I'll get on with it and understand where we're at. I think that we're a good place to start our meeting on Sunday is where exactly we're all at as a group, and what's our start point. How far back do we need to go before we start pointing in the right direction again? So there was some valuable information came back to me from the group as a collective, and some individuals to think, right, this is where we're at, this is what we probably need to concentrate on first, again, to get us rid of some of that anxiety that's around us at the moment.
Have you been given any clearer indication as to how long you might be?
No, look, I know I'm going to keep getting asked this question, and my answer is probably going to be the same every time. Look, I'm here to try and get it moving, and when the club tell me otherwise, you'll be the first guys to know, I'm sure.
Was it just like riding a bike, getting the balls out again?
Well, I did some coaching. I kept me hand in Australia, so my job was split really, but I still, were fairly active coaching through periods of the year, and obviously I felt a bit rusty when I came back with Dave for those 3 weeks. But yeah, I suppose like riding a bike, you soon get back into the swing. I've always watched a lot of rugby league, so in terms of trends and what the opposition are doing, I didn't feel like I'd got too much catching up to do on that score. But obviously planning sessions, organising your staff, getting round the players individually, the workload's increased a fair bit in the last couple of weeks. But we'll get it there. I know it's been a difficult time, probably one of the most difficult defeats in that the club's ever had. But our ability to bounce back from it and where we go from here is what's important, and I'm determined to play my part in that.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Are you confident that you'll get a reaction from the players tomorrow?
I hope so, Ian. I think the way we've been going, that's, I'm not sure. If you wanted me to give you an answer on that, based on what I've seen in training this week, what I've just seen out there in team run in terms of the positivity, the vibe, the buzz, the execution of what we want to do, I'm confident, but I'm going to keep this really simple, because we've tried to make it simple for the players and not make it too convoluted or different messages that strip it right back, and stripping it right back for us means winning tackles, and at the moment we're not winning enough tackles and we're not defending well enough. Some of that ties in with that effort area stuff, but we want a very, very clear focus, strip it back to basics. If we can get that part of the game right, I'm confident that everything else will just drop into place and flow a little bit better for us. It's not going to be without challenges. The challenge for us is if some things don't go quite right, we're making mistakes, something goes wrong, again, the run of play, is our reaction to that. The bigger reaction, judged on what I've seen this week, I've been mightily disappointed if we don't see that reaction, but it's the reaction we show to some of the little things that might happen in a game that is a quality what I think we need to see tomorrow.
And you finalised your team presumably now. You've got some players coming back?
Yeah, Richie Marlowe will come back into the team. We lost Conrad Obviously, you know, it's fairly obvious we're light on edge back rowers at the moment, so we'll use Sutcliffe in the back row, and we'll play Richie Myler in the halves this week. Just who plays in the halves with him, we'll decide just before kick-off tomorrow.
Do you have a decision on Wellington Albert, or is he just
No, Wellington's here. You know, Wellington's here and doing a good job. He's not in the 19 this week. You know, we've gone a little bit of a different way for a couple of reasons, and he's missed out on the 19 this week. He would have been in the 20 if we were allowed to name 20, but just time and a place and a little bit situational stuff, and the team that we're playing, we've just decided to go a different way. Well, you know, Wellington's making progress. I think at this time we're probably going with a slightly more experienced look.